think that you need to have international rules when you're playing an event on an international level, without a doubt. And so my take on it would be that I'm from America, so I have to base it on what I know here. It's just let American foosball be American foosball, but with the mindset that if you're going to play it on an international level, you also have to understand and be able to abide by the international rules. You can play here with the American rules or in European rules, but when you converge to play at the World Cup or an international level, then you have those rules that you have to abide by at that point, which gives every country the opportunity to be unique in its own sense, in its own country.
I'm not sure when the rules are a good point about this, because you speak about European rules and American rules. There is maybe, before ITSF rules, there is maybe 25 different rules in Europe. So even if you are just traveling, because Europe is a continent, USA is a continent, if you compare the distance and everything. So, what I said about international level, in Europe, it's still working. When you're traveling to another country, it's 200 kilometers sometimes, 500 kilometers, just for a tournament, maybe a small tournament. In USA, I think the rules are not necessarily the good point. Maybe the table, and I'm ready to speak about this, the table, because the rules, ITSF rules, are very close. American rules. The people in the rules commissions. Maybe the other rules in Europe, they change 50% of the rules in general. I don't know what is the percentage, I don't want to say something stupid, but it's a small percentage compared to others. And I think people adapt pretty well. I'm not American, I'm not living here, so I cannot speak for people, but it seems that. So, but again, for the table, I think it's important. That's why I am, so this is my position, not ITSF position, executive committee and everything, but now this is my position, is I am against the famous one table for the world. What people want every time, they say it's better if we have one table for. I'm really against, because if we do something like this, we will be far away from many different traditional culture of table soccer. Even if we are already far away. You remember what I said about South America, Africa, Asia, and many countries in Europe. We don't have their own table.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, if it was all the same, to put it a different way is, you go to tennis, you have clay courts, you have grass courts, you have cement courts, different courts to play on, and with table soccer, you have different type of tables that play differently, that maybe have different rules, which goes on the same line.
You don't have to convince me. I agree with this, but the people who are in front telling you that, now you go from tennis example. Give me other example. Football, basketball.
Football. Canadian football is the field is different than American football.
Yeah, of course, but they say it's different sports, different rules, different people who are playing. But it's okay, because I have the same opinion that you are. I don't need the example of tennis or example of American football or I don't know what football, European football that are the same. I don't care. We are table soccer. We decide what we want. No, we don't have to compare. And I think going to unique tables, the only point is, can be very bad. Can be just very bad.
I think so too, because trying to change the American table soccer is just, that's a good example of how not to do it, because it just makes everybody mad.
Yeah, but
and you don't want to make everybody mad.
Don't forget something. At the last World Cup, for example, in France, USA finished first in the men competition, and France finished first in the women competition. Okay, and American finished first it's a seniors competition also. Don't forget something is these countries have a big advantage. Very, very big. Because they are playing one of the 5 tables of these 2 countries are in ITSF. Okay? They can choose their table when they play. So it's an incredible advantage. If you give this advantage to, if you switch, for example, Bonzini to the Spanish table, the French team will be number 16, and the Spanish team will be number maybe 2, maybe 1. Because it's important to be able to play 50% of your time on your own table, very difficult to adapt from other people. That's why, even if I say, yes, we have to keep the contact between the traditional table and the international level, we must let the local players to be able to play on their table, okay? Maybe not 100% exactly the same, but play on that table and allow the other people who play on different table to learn, to practice on this table, Not must be too far away to say, okay, this is American, French people, German people, this is our table and now we control the world, It's seen up a little like this sometimes by other countries, 300 kind of tables, and 5 we decide only 5. Of course we decide this 5 because this 5 table have history, They made something.
Well, why not leave all 5 tables as they are and just have the international rules and not try to change each table to be similar to each table because they're played on the international level?
No, we don't want this table to be...
because if you change the tornado into a one-man goalie, you're changing the entire game of the American game.
Look the Galando table. Little the Galando table. Galante tables was with a glass, with some players who were a little cube, figure, little cube at the end, at the foot, etc., etc. There are so many things. Now the table changed a lot, to help people to play on it. So if you ask American players, because you know them, they will tell you it was impossible to play before on Galando, like on other tables, some other tables. It was impossible, but now they change. It's easier. Now I want to play on this table, I want to practice, I want to learn.
But I understand that. But
so there is always a minimum of things you have to do.
I know. And, you have to consider the whole, though, and I mean, you use the Garlando as an example, and that's not an American table, so it doesn't really coincide with. If you're going to change the Garlando, does that necessarily mean that okay, you changed it and so now Americans like it? But what about the Italians or the French? Are they mad now because it got changed to be more like an American style table, as opposed to just like American style table getting changed to be more like the European style table?
The question you have is, do we all stay at home? And that's all. Not invite other people and not go to the other.
Well, that's part of adapting, though. You go. It's part of adapting.
Yeah, but everybody must make an effort. Or if you don't, you have to say that the 300 tables must be allowed. Okay, we allowed the 300 tables. Now, when you go to the World Cup, for example, or to a competition, everybody go and bring his own table. It was a question we had at the beginning of ITSF, saying, for example, I am Spanish, I come with my table. Okay, you are American, you come with your table. Then now we play. Okay.
I agree that there should be you should have a select amount of tables to compete on at the World Cup, but to have each table basically be pretty much the same just really changes the game all the way around.
The Commission will work about this, try to really give a maximum of chance to the people who traditionally play on the table to have the same feeling, not exactly the same, but maximum, very near as possible of the feelings they had before. Not to cut the international table to the local players who play originally. Now this is about decision. We speak about Galando, Roberto Sport also, table. Of course, the table. Bonzelli, of course, with the famous change cardboard to plastic board, etc. For this 5 table, and also the recognized tables now. Yeah, but I understand this is a big issue for yes, let's say for also Italian people, and there is also some decision I don't like in this direction. I cannot say now like this because it's the executive committee decisions have to be part of it and support. But there is some things, there is some fight, about all this.